Hey, it's me, Rachel, your crypto bestie, and today we're going to be going over what PulseX is and how to use it. But before we get into that, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe because, as always, I am here to give you tutorials on how to do different things within crypto, especially in the Pulse chain ecosystem. So you want to follow along because this is where you're going to get those tutorials that are easy, simple, and straightforward. All right, now let's jump right in. What is PulseX? Disclaimer before we get into this. None of this is financial advice, but I personally love PulseX. I think it is a great tool. I think that it is a great thing to invest in, and it is something that I'm personally invested in. I'm not being paid to make this video or anything like that. I'm just showing you something that I actually really like and believe in. So PulseX is the most liquid exchange on Pulse chain. It is a fork of the Uniswap code. So Uniswap is on Ethereum and Pulse chain is an Ethereum fork. And so they forked Uniswap, which is the most popular swap or DEX on Ethereum, and then moved it over here. But there's a couple of things that are special. So PulseX is Pulse chain's exchange, and it is the Uniswap. It has the world's largest yield farm, and you can actually go in and farm. We're not going to be going over farming today. I have a whole nother video that is going to come out, I think, next week. That's going to be on that. And so I'll dive deeper into that. And then there's another token. So this is kind of interesting. So there's the yield farming. You can also provide liquidity, but you can, by doing that, you get an incentive token. And this says like it's not called out what it's called yet. We do know what it's called. It's INC, the incentive token, and it's been doing really well. So definitely something to look into. And PulseX's goal, let's look at this. PulseX is a Uniswap's fork with PulseX liquidity provider incentivization. Its goal is to provide Pulse chain users with the best possible trading experience in yield farm, with a strong focus on incentivizing ERC20 holders to bridge in and back the value of their free PRC20s. So PulseX is designed to increase value. It's the best asset class in history. And let's see, high yields, most transparent trading in the world, efficiency, and PulseX only becomes more rare. So I want to touch on this. PulseX has lower fees than most competing exchanges, and the fee to users is lower than on most competing exchanges. The most tokens inflate at high rates, while PulseX never inflates. The supply only becomes more rare as 21% of all fees could be used up to buy up the price and burn the freshly bought PulseX. So there is a buy and burn, which makes it more rare. We love that. PulseX is awesome. Dirt cheap fees. Yes. Trading fees 0.29%. That is so small. And we can see how that gets distributed. PulseX will have the most liquidity on Pulse chain. The initial liquidity for PulseX comes from a bot called AMM, Ratio Fixer Bot. It harvests over 99.9% of the coins liquidity from Uniswap, as well as all those others. And it's good to have all the liquidity in a single place. Summary. PulseX has lower fees, the most liquidity on Pulse chain, and only becomes more rare. We love that. We love that for ourselves. All right. Before we jump into the actual app, I do want to show you, if you want stats, you can come to gopulse.com. There's also pulsecoinlist.com, which I really like too. I like both of them for different things. So if you want to, you can come in and look at all of the things that we have in here. All right, now we are going to jump into the tutorial of the actual app. So what used to happen is you'd go to app.pulsex.com and actually bring you to the DApp, so the decentralized app. But now we don't do that anymore, and it's actually super cool. So we can see here decentralization, robustness, and privacy are core principles of real blockchains, which we love that. The team that put this together is really thinking ahead and really wants to be decentralized. So right here we have the option to do IPFS. And if you've ever typed in a URL before, which you probably have, you type in HTTP. Well, IPFS is the decentralized version. HTTP is the centralized version. So that's a centralized server and network. This is a decentralized server and network. So we can click on this and we will do that in just 1 second. Or if you're really feeling fancy, and this is what I did, is you can come in and download the code actually for your desktop, and it will come in and run the code for PulseX. And I think it's just a good idea to have that downloaded on your computer because, who knows, maybe one day you're not going to be able to access it, but you'll be able to access it on your computer as long as you have an internet connection. But we're just going to use the IPFS right now. Okay, so right here we are within the PulseX dApp, which is really just like the true decentralized app because we are on the IPFS. But you can come in here, connect your wallet, and this is where you trade. And this is why I like this so much, is it truly is so simple. It is this UI. It is this user interface, this user experience that you put however many, so you have 1 million Pulse, and you want to trade it for PulseX. We will see. Ooh, fetching the best prices. That's something too, is I really like their, I don't even know what it would be called, but how they do the pricing of all the things. There we go. So if I wanted to spend, say, 2.5 million PulseX, I could get 1 million Pulse. And I actually kind of like going through and looking at the ratios of this because it helps me know maybe more of where both of them are at. And then it shows the gas fee too. And there are a couple of different versions that you can come in and actually use when looking at this. But we also have the auto router here, which is kind of cool. So you can go through and actually like come and read what each of these are, which I really appreciate that. Just as someone who is maybe a beginner might not know what some of these things mean. And there's an explanation right there. All right. Something too is if you want to get more technical and really want to dive deeper into this, you can come in and change your slippage tolerance, which with where it's at now, you can just keep it there if you're a beginner. And also you can decide if you want the auto router on. You can change the language, which we always love that. And then also you can use the bridge. And the bridge isn't a part of this video just because that is its whole own thing. I actually have a video that goes over all of this. I've had a bridge in and then had a bridge out. I think those are actually 2 different videos. So I'll link them up here. And then you can also provide liquidity. And this is where the versioning comes in. So you will have to connect your wallet to be able to do this part, but they do have V1 and V2. And this is where you become the liquidity provider. This is also where farming can come in. So you decide what tokens that you want to provide liquidity for. So say I wanted to do that 1 million. I want to connect my 1 million Pulse with my a little over 2 million PulseX. And we can come in and liquidity provide through this. And then farming within PulseX is where we will actually get to the point, there we go, get to the point of farming. So you come in, you create the liquidity pair, and then if we come into earn and farms, you can come and liquidity provide through farming. So you stake the liquidity pair. So you create the liquidity pair. So say PulseX and Pulse, which I guess that's not one of the top ones. Okay. So say we want to liquidity provide for PulseX and Wrapped Pulse. We could create a liquidity pair for that, and then we come in and farm it, but it's literally just staking the liquidity pair. And then you can go in and remove. You can split it up eventually too. You can break the liquidity pair. Something that you do need to know though, if you're going to be getting into this, is there is something called impermanent loss. And that is where if one token's going up, it typically means the other token's going down that you're liquidity providing for. So you may have loss that just happens because of that. But at the end of the day, you can still make money through this. When this was first launched, one of the APR was like 124,000%. It was crazy. And even these percentages are still really good. But yeah, that day was a wild day. And then something to talk about is pools. The PulseX pools have actually not been open since April 9th of 2022. And the reason why I know that is because that's my birthday. And they ended at 5 p.m. on my birthday. And that was for I think it was testnet V1. It may have been V2. I can't remember. But they have not been open since that. And so we at least know that something else is going to be released here on PulseX, because at this point in time, PulseX has been opened for, or been available to the public for a little bit over a year. And so at some point, hopefully that this will be a thing where you can come in and stake your PulseX and then other tokens, because I know this is definitely something that I personally would like to do. And then if we come in here, we can come into the burn. If you'd like, you can come in and burn your PulseX. And, you know, you can also come in and do these particular ones where you click on it and burn those. This one's actually pretty big. And then you pay the fee for that. And yeah, so there's the PulseX buy and burn, which I kind of talked about earlier. And then there's obviously in the trade, the exchange liquidity, and then earning farms, and eventually pools. So that's what PulseX is. It's very straightforward. It's just your average swap, which is great, but it has not had downtime since it released, and it has been an amazing product, at least for me to use, because it really truly is so simple. If you are coming in and trading other things outside of just like their top list, make sure that you are pasting in the correct address, which it will ask you about that. But I do want you to make sure that you're trading for the right thing, because there are airdropped versions of things and then not airdrop versions. So just make sure that you keep an eye out for that. Well, I'd love to hear, are you into PulseX? Do you really like PulseX? Is it something that you think that you can get behind in supporting? Put that in the comments below, and I hope you have a great day. All right, bye.